Today we're going to learn about the Native Americans. We're going to take a closer look at some of the symbols that they have all over them. When most people talk about history, the Native Americans are excluded out, and they have a story to tell just like the rest of the world. Let's see what we can find. Let's start at the necklace and work our way up. We'll start at the very center where the X is. The X has been recorded since the Stone Age. The X represents the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. That's Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury. When you add the Sun and Moon, that makes 7. When you add Uranus and Neptune, that makes 9. It's the 7 branch menorah turning into the 9. Now the 2 dots on either side could be counted as the X representing 5 and the 4 dots representing 9 total when you add them together. Notice the arrow direction pointing down from her collar to her body, showing the direction of the planetary energies raining down on the planet. Now to all my subscribers that's seeing this X all over the world, don't count this out as something not special, because this is at her throat. Your throat is how you let out vibrations. Your throat is how you do your chants. Your throat chakra. Moving up to her face, on the left you see 9 teardrops. This symbolizes the 9 planets raining down, helping to give existence to all life. Right between her eyebrows you'll see the V, which represents the tuning fork. In India, Vishnu has this in the middle of his head. It demonstrates how you match your body's frequency with the planet's frequency above. Over top of the tuning fork, you'll see the symbol for the 5 planets, which is the cross. It started as an X in Stone Age period and then evolved into the upright plus. Starting at the headdress, you'll see 8 little. When you count the whole piece, it equals 9 for 9 planets. Over top of that, you see the frequency wave. We found this frequency wave all over the world in petroglyphs and carvings. Notice this at the forehead, where the third eye is as well. This headdress has examples of the X all over it. Counting right down the middle of the headdress, you'll have 12 for 12 constellations. This is how you represent as above, so below. The side tassel hanging down has a star for the 5 planets. Again, this is always at the temple or the head where the third eye rests. Moving on, here's a patch with 9. Of course, you see the cube of Saturn where the 5 is. That represents the 5 planets when you count the outskirt of the cube and the different color variation patterns. All the way to the center, you'll get 5. Native Americans were wearing the planets and constellations on top of their head. This is the biggest flex I've ever seen. Here's another one with the 5-pointed star. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury. Again, notice the frequency wave on the front band where the third eye would rest on the head. If you count that first diamond all the way to the middle, you'll see 5. That represents the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. It stops at that point because the other side represents as above, so below. Notice the different patterns in the band. Some frequency, some directional. The black triangles count 7. If you squint your eyes tiny enough, you can see it. That side tassel has the symbol of the cross, which represents the 5 planets. And I'm glad you can see the dot in the middle. That's where Saturn belongs out of the 5. The one that runs the entire solar system. The creator of all things. Look at the 9 on the tassels hanging down. Since we just finished with Greece and Rome, I want you to pay attention to the same color schemes as well, with the blue lapis lazuli, gold, red, black, white, sometimes green, all the colors associated with Saturn. In today's time, the elite honors these colors. More axes and 12 constellations. Now, since we just got through with the Dogon tribe, we know what that sideways 3, when you count all points, it equals out to 5. So you start at one end and you count 1, up, 2, down, 3, up, 4, down, 5. This is an easy way to teach the same strategy used in the Stone Age. Now let's move on to something really freaking cool. I just thought war paint was just war paint. Something to intimidate any rival tribe or any rival nation, add the war cry, and everybody's taking off running. But no, sorry, friends. This war paint wasn't just specifically for intimidation. Look at the menorah style, 7 on his head, 3 on each side, 1 in the middle. This is what makes them powerful during battle. On the top of that headpiece, you'll see the symbol for the 5 planets. Look at this guy. He has an entire planet on his face. He has 5 stripes on his chin representing the 5 planets you can see with your naked eye. Man, if they only made school this fun. Unfortunately, they had to lie about our history, because if you knew how powerful you truly are and the energies of the planets above that you can access, you wouldn't need them every Sunday or Saturday. Moving on, notice the bridge of his nose. It has 4 stripes. And then on the side of his cheeks, you see the acknowledgement for the 3. 4 and 3 equals 7 for the 7 planets. Also with the possibility of the Holy Trinity representation. Under his eyes, he has the representation for the 9 planets. His forehead and chin is a symbol for the 5 planets as well. We've seen all over the world where they show the symbol for 4, but count the pattern as 5 as well. Again, notice all this black, red, and white all over them. The same colors you see in the Catholic Church. And you call these people savages. It's sad in symbolism. This girl has a planet painted on her face. Look at the 7-branch menorah on her forehead, where her third eye is. Look at the sun disk of rays she almost creates, like the portraits of your gods with the halos around their head, representing the energies of the planets, or possibly the constellations. Starting from the shoulders, you'll count 5 black cubes. That represents the 5 planets. You'll count 4 red cubes that total that to 9 planets in total, once you add it to the black. And then you have 7 white cubes. So this is really cool because you have symbolism for the 5 planets, 7 planets, and 9 planets all on one sleeve. Notice the tuning fork shape at the neck, where your vocal cord would be again, matching your frequency with the planets, your built-in tuning fork. The rest of the pattern represents the 7 planets. Very powerful indeed. This one represents the 9 planets. Notice the directional arrows all over, pointing to the human body. Starting at the top, you'll see the checker cubes in groups of 3, which total to 9 for 9 planets. Next to that, you see the cross on both sides, representing the 5 planets. Notice in the middle of the cross, it has something special to highlight that you count that as well. It doesn't just represent 4 corners. Further down, you'll see beads in groups of 2. This represents the 12 constellations. The 6 pieces with the lizard above equals the 7 planets. Here's another example of a 5 planet representation. At the bottom, a frequency wave. Top right shoulder, you see the example for the 5 planets and the 7. 5s everywhere. Further down, you see the example for the 12 constellations inside of the cube. This shows the importance of the constellations and the planets together. More crosses and frequency patterns. Not all converting was done by force. Some could relate with the symbols and the stories within their stories and find similarities. When you have a chance, make sure you look up Chief Joseph's inauguration speech letter he wrote to the president, explaining how they're God-fearing men and the parallels between their prayers and ours. Now, the TPs were a little bit frustrating. Some of them had 12 sticks in the top sticking out. Some had 11, some had 10. Some had way too many for my count. But some of them did have planetary representation and symbols indicating that this space was dedicated to the planets as well. This one has an example of 12 constellations on it. This one has the 3 with 12 constellations on the inside circle. Notice the tuning fork shape of the tongue. Looks like a serpent tongue hanging over the door. When you step into that tent opening, it's business time. So anyway, like I was saying, I was expecting most to have 12 constellations sticking out the top, but there are more in some cases. But I know inside it would look like a spiral of wood. And if you open that up, it would look just like any star that we found drawn in caves all over the world. So this space is a very powerful space, especially if they're doing chanting and meditating inside of it. This guarantees success with your mission on accessing the energies above. Notice the X at the very center of the door. There's 7 feathers underneath that. So you have a 5-planet representation, 7, and with the feathers on the side, 9 planet. Notice the frequency ripple in white going up the tint. I would love to be invited in one of these teepees one day. I would bring the finest grain of my finest collection, and I would share stories with their chief. I would teach them the trick of the Anunnaki. Until next time, guys.